Okay, hi, hello, and welcome to From Haystack to Hyper Efficiency, how Smartsheet transformed customer support with Salesforce Agentforce and AI. Today's exciting webinar is sponsored by Salesforce and partner Thunder Consulting and produced by SmartBrief. My name is Jess Steinbach. I'm with SmartBrief, a future B2B company, and I'm so happy that I get to be your moderator today because in this session, we are taking you inside Smartsheet's journey of transforming customer support with Salesforce Agentforce and AI. So you're going to hear directly from the horse's mouth, so to speak, how their team streamlined operations, elevated customer satisfaction, and drove greater efficiency. So with the help of our expert presenters who are going to join me here in just a moment, we will unpack and explore the power of smart technology and strong partnerships and how that can really enable you and empower you to reimagine service. This is going to be such an interesting conversation. I cannot wait to dive in. We got lots to explore together today. So let me just zip through a few housekeeping points together and then we can get this show on the road. I want to take a little bit of a guided tour of your audience console. So head on over to the right-hand side right now, and you see those three little tabs there. We've got chat, docs, and Q&A. And I can already see some of you shouting out in the chat, telling us where you're from, how your day is going. Adam's asking, what's shaking? What's shaking from Encinitas? I like that, Adam. And we've got Morteza, and we've got Jim. I think I saw Gilbert in there, and Sherry, and Michael, Lindsay. Oh my gosh, we got a whole awesome crew here with us. Corey from Wisconsin, the great state of Wisconsin. I love it. All right, all these wonderful humans, I want to hear from you as we go through our day together today. So please, by all means, keep posting the highs and hellos. And then as we're going through our conversation, we really want this to be interactive. So if you have a thought, if something resonates with you, if something maybe doesn't sound like what you understood, please do post and you can share that information with each other. So all of that chat is where we get to connect as a community, where we get to grow and learn from each other. Hey, Connor from Milwaukee. We got more of the Wisconsinites joining us today. Amazing. Happy to see all you Midwestern folks. I'm happy to see all you folks. And then we've got, so the chat is where we get to know one another, but we've got two hops a little over there, from there are the Q&A tab. And in that Q&A tab is where you can actually ask questions directly of our expert presenters. So I have to tell you, our presenters are so good today that not only are they going to be speaking to you all the way through our session, but they're also going to be responding on live chat. They are confident that they can multitask and be both speaking and typing. So we're going to see how that goes. Challenge extended, wonderful speakers. So if you're asking questions today, we will get responses back to you either in our live Q&A or over live chat, and we will also follow up via email. So you are going to get a whole host of answers today. Make sure you get those questions in. So chat, just a refresher, connecting with each other, sharing ideas, saying hi from Kansas City. Hey, Brian, nice to see you. Q&A is where you're posting questions directly to our expert presenters. Now, right in the middle, we have the docs tab. There's some great resources and follow-ups, ways that you can kind of carry these conversations forward in your day. So make sure you check out that docs tab. All right, that's it for the three tabs over there. Last thing I want to say about the audience console, we do have closed captioning available for you. So if that would enhance your webinar viewing experience today, whether it's a language you speak or maybe you're learning a new one, go ahead and put on that closed captioning that's available for you at any time. Last but not least, let's say you have a little tech gremlin issue today. I know we're hoping that it's a tech gremlin free day, but every once in a while they sneak in the system. So if something comes up today, stop number one, browser refresh. Give that a try. Hopefully that helps. If the browser refresh doesn't fix it for you, you can find light mode and enable that on your audience console there. So just enable that light mode and that should help. Last ditch effort, if those two things have not worked, your bat signal in the sky is to send a message in the chat to Riley. Riley is here with us today, making sure everything runs smoothly. So if you need a hand with anything, you can post in the chat and Riley will be there to help you out. Okay, last but not least, we do have a $250 Amazon gift card that we will be giving away at the end of our session. Of course, you do need to be here in live attendance throughout the webinar, and you do need to meet the SmartBrief prize terms and conditions. If you're not sure what those are, we have them linked for you. They're over there in the docs tab. So head on over and you can check them out there. Okay, lots of information very quickly here. And the good news is we are just getting started. We have so much more coming your way. And I am so excited to introduce this wonderful look at this all-star lineup I have here with me today. We are going to be chatting with Jeff Max Strong, Enterprise Sales, High Tech Salesforce, James Watson, VP Customer Support from Smartsheet, and Yaron Wilf, VP Service Cloud Practice, Thunder Consulting. Like I said, that is one heck of a lineup. Okay, hang tight, friends. Let's get our speakers on out here with me. All right, well, we got the whole wonderful team on out here with us now, and we are ready to get started. We just did a little bit of an introduction, the names and title thing, but there's so much more to all of you here, and I'm really excited to dig in and learn a little bit more about the lens and the perspective that each one of you is bringing to this conversation today. So I'd love to just go through and maybe James, Jeff Mack, and Yaron, each one of you kind of tell us a little bit more about yourself and your perspective.
Oh, fantastic. Hey, my name is James Watson. I'm the VP of support for Smartsheet. I've been at the company about 3.5 years. I'm known as a leader in transformations. I've spent most of my career at large companies like Walmart, McKesson, an energy company, doing all different parts of the business. But super excited to be over here at Smartsheet. Just a little bit about myself. I've been married for 27 years, have 5 great kids. Our favorite destination is Disney. And what drives me the most about working at Smartsheet is just the fact that it's so effective of a tool that it gives time back to people for what matters most to them. For me, it's getting dinner with my family just one more night each week. And when we polled all of our customers, they said that they save more than 4 hours every single week. And those 4 hours are just so critical to be able to get back and do what is most important for them. That could be dinner, could be a hobby, could be a side hustle, whatever it is that's most important for them, they get those 4 hours back. So that's what drives me to be able to get those for the customer.
Mm.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jeff Max Strong. I've been with Salesforce for a little over 2 years now and had the pleasure of working with Smartsheet for the past year. I'm based out of Boulder, Colorado, and so we love all things outdoors, everything in the mountain. But James, we too are a Disney family. I've got a 6-year-old and a 5-year-old and a new puppy, which keeps us from going as often as we were going. But um, yeah, and I've been in tech sales from startups to Salesforce in size of scope of company for over 20 years now. And I just see us entering into a really exciting time. And it's just great to be able to work with companies like Smartsheet that are really out there leading the charge with AI. So getting to work with customers every day is what drives me.
Hello, everybody. My name is Yaron Wilf, and I lead Thunder's contact center modernization practice. Through my career, I've run 3 global contact centers on Salesforce, and I had so much success that I wanted to bring that same level of success to other customers in the ecosystem. And from there, I've been consulting for over 20 years, and with my team, we've delivered over 1,000 Service Cloud projects across various industries. At Thunder, our contact center motto is that the most important experience a customer has with a brand is with a contact center. And that's why we're passionate about helping customers drive success across every key metric, be it CSAT, retention, agent productivity, etc. I live in San Diego, and my kids are older. They're college age now. So when I'm not banging contact center on my keyboard, you can find me surfing at the local break or on the pickleball court.
Oh, okay. You guys are all super cool humans. And, it doesn't surprise me actually that we have a lot of Disney fans here because one of the things that Disney does so well is create exceptional experiences. And I think that's what we're going to get into today is that really exceptional experience. And I'm excited to unpack that a little bit. Yaron, I want to hear more about surfing too. So we're going to have to just do a follow-up webinar that's just all Disney and surfing. And that's our next theme. But I think we'll have to keep going with our current webinar for the next little bit. Yaron, can you tell me and maybe set the stage for the audience a little bit because we've got some really cool perspectives coming together here. Where are we going in this conversation?
Well, AI is omnipresent today. You can't, turn your head, read a headline, look on LinkedIn or anything else without AI popping out in the feed or being front and center. So today we're going to learn about how what type of impact and what the journey looks like with AI in the contact center. And we're just so excited to share that with our customers today.
Love it. All right, let's jump in. You're on. Take us there.
So, just to set the stage today, before we get into the content, a little bit about Thunder and Smartsheet. So, Thunder is the fastest growing Salesforce partner. We provide multi cloud services across various Salesforce platforms, as well as Amazon Connect. Um, we help our customers through their journey around planning their roadmap, implementations, optimization, and ongoing support post go live. But don't just take our word for it. Our customers rank us at 4.9 out of 5 stars on the App Exchange. So go check out the feedback and comments.
That's very impressive. I have to say, you're on. That's quite the shout out.
Well, and we really wanted to be able to work with Thunder because of the partnership that we've had in the past. We really have a high level of trust with them. So I'll speak to that a little bit later. But just to give you a little bit of background on who Smartsheet is, there's really two types of people in the world: people who love Smartsheet and people who just don't know about Smartsheet. So I wanted to make sure you understand who we are when it comes to this collaborative work management space. Smartsheet is in the top right of the Gartner Magic Quadrant. We created the field. We've been doing this for more than 20 years. We lead by integrating with all the key applications, as well as we have all the safety and security and compliance you need. So we have a lot of customers that have high security, a lot of HIPAA, a lot with healthcare, government as well. But what I wanted to jump straight to, what really drives my passion, is the stuff that's on the very right hand side. 71% of our customers use it for business critical purposes. They run their business off of Smartsheet. They may have their source data in some other application, but when it comes to making business work with flow, they use Smartsheet to get it done. And then I mentioned it earlier, but when we surveyed all of our users, 72% save more than 4 hours every week. And that's real money in the bank. For a company to be able to be that much more efficient, you can do so much more with your people to drive your business forward.
Yeah, that's huge. Four hours a week. And you called that out, James, at the start, what you can do with that time, whether that's, productivity in the workplace or in your personal life. But that's a huge impact.
Yeah, and it's great. And anybody who wants to jump into Smartsheet, super easy to use. It's so intuitive. Um, Anybody can get it started in just a couple minutes. We use a lot of AI. AI is front and center, and so we really appreciate working with Salesforce and with Thunder to help us at least get this part of our AI journey going. So appreciate it.
And this is the time that you're saving on these critical, it's coming from these automations that you're setting in place.
Yeah, some of the automations that are going with our automation of tasks, our dashboards that allow us to see everything in real time for the executives down to the individual, the ability to collaborate so everyone's working off the same page all the time. It's
Mm.
not create something, email your version, and then someone updates it, emails it back. This is working in real time. That's the way that work goes nowadays.
That's so exciting. Is there, I'm just trying to think, is there like a specific example that we could get into of one of those time saving things? Like, I think you had mentioned forms.
Yeah, no, forms is one of my favorites. So imagine if you're a medical company, you've got a clinic, and patients come in, and you give them a piece of paper, they fill it all out, they hand it over to the receptionist, who then has to key it all in. That takes a lot of time, and so we have a lot of customers who use forms, and they're dynamic forms, and they just give it to the customer on a tablet or even just with a QR code, and they fill out all of the information. All that data goes straight into a sheet that then populates into reports and automation of decisions, and just makes that entire process of intaking a customer. We use it for things like project creation or accounting flows, doing a pick list for inventory, anything that requires putting together a list and putting information in and spitting it out just becomes so much faster. We used it in my last company to do accounting at the corporate level. And we had all these business units that would just go into the form on a monthly basis, and they pop in the important information. and the automation would go get the right approvals and reviews, audits, and it would come into the corporate where we could then share it out to the public.
That's huge. So with auditing, I'm going to assume that reporting, automated reporting is a big thing there.
Automated reporting is amazing, and because we have every single cell has a history to it. We had Deloitte come in to do a really big audit with us off of our process, and they said we're going to be here for the next 6 months doing this audit. But because we use Smartsheet, we had all the data and information. They were in and out in less than 6 weeks.
Okay, so real-time collaboration on an enhanced scale is what I'm hearing. And there's a lot of magic to this. And Yaron, I'd love to just let you and James explore this a little bit further because I'm fascinated. I want to hear more about some of these elements.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's get into it. Let's talk about, now that we've learned so much about what impact the product Smartsheet has on customers and the ability to save time and optimize, let's dive into how AI uh, is being leveraged to save time and optimize a contact center.
Oh, awesome. This is the vision slide. I really like this slide for the fact that it really points to the idea that what we want to do is create a better experience for the customer. So 80% of the stuff that comes into our support organization are simple questions. It's help me understand, how do I do a function? How do I build a formula? Some of these easy type questions. And instead of waiting for an agent to respond and try to guess, we wanted to make sure that we could give this to the customer as quickly as possible. And this is what we want to do with what we call the front door experience. Customer comes in the front door, asks a question, and hopefully we can get them the answer just automatically with our agentic AI. So it's super exciting to be able to do it. We want to do it with a partner that we could trust. So we know that AI is everywhere. Everybody has some type of AI. There's a lot of great upstart companies that try to solve similar problems. But as we started to look through all of this, we we elected to stick with our incumbent partner with Salesforce. We knew that they have significantly deep pockets and understanding of AI. They have a business continuity, so we could trust that they would be along for the long haul. And then we wanted to work with Thunder because they had helped us in the past effectively manage a project and deliver it on time and on budget. And they had the partnership relationship with Salesforce, and that was really critical for us. It's not going to be for everybody, but for us, it was a magic combination to get all three in the room together.
Thank you, James. We love working with you and your team and appreciate the partnership. Um, I love that you defined a vision for this for Smartsheet to serve as a guiding North Star. I want to dive deeper into that a little bit and really kind of understand, well, how did this all get started? With that, I'm curious, what prompted your organization to explore AI in the contact center? I mean, what challenges were you looking to solve?
Yeah, I think every C-suite is putting out the challenge, find some efficiencies in the business using AI. And it, the magic quotes out there that it's going to save 30, 40, 50, 60% of a resource, or save on headcount or replace headcount. That's all out there. It's a little bit of, I would say, kind of this vaporware, this nuance. And it's more about how can we make our customer more effective and our people more effective. So we never took the position of saying it's going to just replace everything that support does. It was more on how can we be more effective at delivering what our customer needs. And if our customer needs quick, easy answers that can be hopefully delivered through agentic AI and have deeper meaning and interactions with our support agents on the back end. So
Yeah,
that was kind of the idea is, let's find ways that we can help our customer across the board and make our agents more effective.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned 80%, Q&A, that certainly aligns with what we see as the most, impactful use case for AI, right? It's like get an AI bot out there to help with self-service QA because that drives case deflection and ultimately translates to cost saving, right? I mean, that's really where we recommend customers start, given they have a healthy knowledge base that's accurate and effective. Um, could you walk me through the evaluation and decision-making process your company went through when selecting Agentforce?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, back to that first point on, we wanted to stick with Salesforce because they're incumbents and we have this great relationship. They're investing in AI just as much as anybody else is investing
Mhm.
in AI. But because we know them and we have that strong partnership, it made a lot more sense. So
Yeah,
yes, we evaluated a lot of others that had similar features and functions, but because it was the entire package, not just AI, but it's our CRM. It has all of our data, all of our knowledge. It made most sense.
yeah,
But trying to get this approved to invest, it was not a leap of faith. It was a leap of commitment more than anything else. So as we started to look at all of the different use cases that we could have the agent force do for us, we listed all of them out. We ended up with more than 150 different use cases, and that's going to be things like, what do I do if I need help with a formula, or help with building a dashboard, or help with some of these basic questions? It improves our routing. What do I do if I need help with my billing or a copy of my invoice? All of those things become use cases. And then we had to stack it up and we said, what do we think we could deflect by putting it into AI? And then we did the simple math and we said, every time we have a case, we know how much it costs us to do it. So, what's our average cost per case? We think we can improve that deflection rate by X number of cases on a monthly basis. And then we just did the simple math, number of cases, cost per case. That gave us what we think we could save. And then we took that all the way up to the CFO and said, here's our commitment. But he didn't want a soft commitment. He wanted to make sure that we would put our money where our mouth is. And I think this is a key principle. We were strong enough in our understanding of AI and this partnership triangle that we were able to put our hand on our heart and say, CFO, we will deliver this, um, come high water. We will get this done. And it was putting my neck on the line as a leader to say that if this failed, I would still have to deliver on those expected savings. So it was really important to put that commitment out there.
wow,
Now,
that's a bold responsibility to take on, James.
It it certainly was, but that was only part. That was the customer facing side. The other side was, how do you calculate the savings on the back end? So what are the efficiencies to get out of my agents? They have to do a lot of time with research and response generation, how to understand the customer, how to do case notes or do knowledge management creation. So we had to do all of that as well. So we did this really in-depth time motion study to understand, what do our agents do minute by minute for the entire day.
Mm,
And based off of that, we've already been able to see that we're saving almost an hour every single day just on the efficiencies. So that means my agents can handle one more very complex issue on a daily basis. So that productivity and that efficiency goes way, way, way up. And that's part of the equation as well.
yeah, I mean, phenomenal. I'm so curious, and I think the audience will be here as well once they see the type of results that you just hinted at. You did mention kind of how the commitment that you made, to yourself, to the business, to, the contact center and to customers. Um, I really commend that seriously, because we find that having an internal champion to drive buy-in and alignment is such a key success factor. And you having defined that vision and that North Star, can really help make those important trade-off decisions while aligning the team towards those measurable outcomes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, thanks for jumping to this one, because I think this kind of paints this picture. When we started this process, we wanted to understand, where does the customer enter into a relationship, and where do they get the answer? And I'm sure most companies have something similar. There's a lot of um, front doors, a lot of side doors where a customer may call CS or sales or the finance or accounting or support. There's a lot of ways to get in contact with somebody at the company. Sometimes it's the right person, sometimes it's not the right person. And then trying to answer whatever question it was became very difficult. So my agents would get a request with a narrow amount of information, and they'd have to go to all these different teams trying to understand who the customer is, what their issue might be, and then they go to all these different tools that support it. So this delay of communication back and forth to try and get something resolved for a customer can be really messy, and that's why we wanted to change things up. So
Yeah, I really love this infographic from the moment I saw it. It says so much about, the reality and is a actually quite common landscape for mid to large contact centers. We find that good information architecture and accessibility is just so critical to customer and employee satisfaction, to improving all those KPIs around deflection, average handle time, first contact resolution, et cetera. So, um, we really every AI project ultimately is also a data project. So, um,
yeah, and you're totally right. It's a data and knowledge management problem, and that's big. In our company, and this is just illustrative, we've got a lot of systems, a lot of teams that get involved. But for illustration, I wanted to put this up there so that everybody understands we know that there's knowledge across the entire tech stack. And how do you get access to that knowledge is really difficult to do. So a lot of the AI tools we looked at, they were bespoke to just one of these tools. So, each system would have an AI, and then you'd have to have AI speak to another AI from another system. And it's just turned into this very convoluted and messy pile of spaghetti to try and figure out how do I get the right answer quickly all the way through the agent and all the way to the customer. So we put this smart doors concept in place. A front door that is smart. This is the agentic AI that Thunder and Salesforce helped us build so that every time a customer comes in, they have a unified experience. They go through the same front door. We understand who the customer is. Hopefully, we can deflect it using agentic AI and all the knowledge that's mapped into it. But if not, at least I have the context that the customer is asking for. And that helps me to route it directly to the team that can best answer it. Not just random, but best answer the question. And then on this backdoor concept, we use the agentic AI with Agentforce again to go into all of these different systems and understand who the customer is, when last did we talk to them, what what type of user are they, what type of experience have they had in the past? What type of context do we have with the solution that they're having trouble with? And then we do all of this information gathering so that we can inform our employees better so that they can then answer the question. So it's really empowering the backdoor employee to be the best agent or the best response to the
mm.
customer.
Yeah, James, I mean, knowing that accurate, complete, effective data is so central to AI, the need to, that's really a great starting point before we put fingers on the keyboard, right, and start programming the agents. Um, how did you prepare your data and systems to be AI ready? And, kind of what does it take to have that data quality, continuity, and governance as you move forward?
Yeah, your own, I think data quality is always going to be an issue in any company. And we could spend years doing a data hygiene to try and make sure everything is squeaky clean, and it still won't be there. So we took a very clear perspective on we trust that the majority of the information is going to be correct. And when every single use case goes through this iteration process where we say, where do we think the primary source of data is? Where are the backup secondary sources of data? And we map all of that in. And then we do a ton of UAT and testing before we make it go live. We want to make sure that if we have all of these set questions on perspective of being a customer or being an employee, ask all these questions, look at the data, what is our confidence level? And I'm super excited that when we first started, we were at that confidence level of like 60%, which
Mm.
isn't good enough. Now that we've gone through these iterations and we're starting to train the model, we're now in the 96,
Oh,
97%
wow.
confident intervals, which it takes time. No one should expect that the moment you turn something on, it's going to be 100% right.
Yeah. Well, thinking of speaking to time and how much time it takes, I mean, I think a lot of our customers want to know, and a lot of people who are going to go down the AI journey, how quickly, how long does it take? What does it take? So can you talk us through the project timeline?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So this is a really fun one. There's a couple key points on here that I like. When we decided that we were going to partner with Thunder and with Salesforce, we really built this Tiger team early on and said we want to make sure we have the right mix of people. We already had our use cases. We already made the financial commitment. We knew what we were going to prioritize and go after. And then we went after the customer facing one because, to be frank, it was easier to deploy and it had that high payback with the deflections. So we said let's start with that, and then we started working on the backdoor agent as well. So we got to this point very quickly where we were putting out, really combined between the two, really 2 to 4 different use cases on a weekly basis. And once
Wow.
you have that first one established and built, now it's just iterate. What's the next use case? You've already laid the groundwork, and this is just adding to it.
Yeah.
So it's been a great ride so far.
Well, great. I'd like to pause here for a sec. This might be a great spot for Jeff Mack to come in and provide some perspective. Jeff Mack.
Thanks, Yaron. I just wanted to highlight here how important the close collaboration is that we had between Smartsheet,
Yeah.
Salesforce, and Thunder. We started doing use case workshops early on, and we worked with Thunder, with Smartsheet. We helped identify, what are these high value use cases that also have less complexity, so that we can roll those out, see ROI quickly.
Yeah.
A lot of times it can feel like there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen, and so it's so important that there's clear communication, on a daily basis. I probably talk to Thunder once or twice a day, over about a 2 or 3 month period, just to make sure we're all aligned, we're all rowing the boat in the same direction. And I'd also say, you know, be willing to pivot through the process. A new business challenge arose for Smartsheet. I'll call it mid implementation, and the teams came together and said, "Look, we need to build this agent." And it wasn't necessarily high on the list, 2 weeks, 4 weeks before that. And so just working closely together, making sure that we're continuing to provide value for, the Smartsheets customer. Um, and also, what's important in that is how Smartsheet approached this. They've got project management in their DNA. And we built it out, the use cases in a Smartsheet, and we were tracking the where each use case was, our agent, in the implementation process. We were able to move things around very easily and collaborate, and using their tool. And so, it came together nicely without, there's certainly bumps in the road, and like I said, new challenges arose, and we just tackled those as they came and kept moving along. And so, it's just a testament to the teams coming together here, working very closely. We had weekly syncs, between the three of us at the very minimum, and those would increase as we get closer to actually rolling out the agent to production. Yeah. One last thing I would add here
Yeah.
is that, we took small bites of this. We didn't try to run at this and expect to wake up tomorrow and AIs across the entire organization. We had specific use cases. It's important that you don't try to build an agent that does too much. They need to have a very specific job to do, and it's okay to, start small and build off that momentum. And once you have the first agent live, if you got your infrastructure in place, the next ones are a little bit easier to build out and get out into production, and start seeing the ROI from those.
Thank you, Jeff Mack. That was great. I love that insight. Yeah, I mean, this is so impressive and such a great slide to your point, because I think you mentioned you had about 150 use cases. And I think when we look at projects historically, I mean, they can take months, if not years, to just even get to that starting point. And this really shows that you can move fast with Salesforce and Agentforce to really start getting those results, um, very, very quickly. Um, I think you also mentioned this 90% confidence in the data and answers in the previous slide. And I'm curious, through these gates, or as you're going from use case to use case, how did you determine that the AI agent attainment, meaning, is kind of achieving these results? Um, what kind of gates did you put in place to determine the AI was doing as expected for each use case?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. Yaron, if you hit the next slide, I think it's kind of the one of my favorite slides really shows where this execution and delivery happens and this the partnership happens.
Yeah.
So every use case, we identify all the key questions or most of the key questions that we would expect around that use case. We work with Salesforce at the front side to help us with what's the right design, the architectural design behind it. I mean, it's their AI tool with Agentforce. They know it better than we know it. So we wanted to bring that expertise in. They help us map to the right knowledge source. And then with Thunder being, kind of these fingers on the keyboard to help build it and make sure that it's effective. And then the next step, we have this really important step of the UAT and the testing, and we go through all those questions and we ask it multiple times. We check the quality, we check the data. If it has bad quality, we go back to the source and we fix it. And then we just iterate and we do that over and over and over again. But we do it in a really short period of time because each use case is a smaller. It's just that agile framework. So we can move very, very quick and nimble. And we just go through the iterations. And then when we get to that high level of confidence, we turn it loose and we give it to the customer, and then we just keep monitoring it, and there will always be something that is buried in a corner that has the wrong set of data, and that's going to pop up, and we still will look at it for quality and then try to correct whatever article it was that was out there. So it takes time, but that time can be very, very short if it's meaningful. If you set it up at the beginning of your use case for that sprint on Agile, say, this is what we want to ask, and these are the results that we want to get.
Yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, I think tying it back to the use case to your point, and then having um, kind of entry and exit criteria or success criteria for the UAT phase. And you mentioned something really interesting because traditionally when you implement something, if it doesn't work as expected, you look at the code, right? And you say like, was there an error here or not? You mentioned having to go back to the data and look at the data and with AI to say, you know, is our data accurate, right? Does the AI have, did we give it, seed it with the right data? Do we have the right type of content for the AI to really drive those generative responses? Um, and that's something that at Thunder, we've really, as I mentioned, we've kind of enhanced or shifted our methodology to be kind of very front end data focused, right? To do the data assessment, align that to the use cases, and then see that all come to life and validate that in UAT as we go from use case to use case. So
Yeah.
thank you. I love this slide also because it really kind of paints it, kind of all the factors and all the teams that make it successful and necessary to bring it to life.
Your own. If you go back, there's one thing that you piqued my thought on. Part of the data structure is going after what is most recently updated. We've been around long enough that there's always some gremlin buried in something from 10 years
Mhm.
ago. That's way outdated and inaccurate. And we always worry that this AI is going to go and crawl and find that gremlin and bring it up and put it in front of the customer. But I think part of the logic we've tried to bring in is go after what has been most recently updated
Mm.
in priority to what is oldest. And that has helped us have more accuracy.
Oh yeah, that's great. So you're saying that maybe of the entire kind of data set that's available around content,
Yeah.
kind of only take the first, the most relevant or most current first, and then is that what you're describing?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's basically how it works.
Okay. Yeah, that's a really great approach. All right. Well, I think this is, your favorite slide. I think this might be my favorite slide but really it's all about you and Smartsheet. But James, can you take us through the results that you've achieved?
Uh, True. This is another really good slide, and really, AI is a piece of the entire story. It's not the entire story. I think you have to take a strategic look at the entire support organization or CS organization or whatever position you might be in, but look at it from the entire high level perspective and say, what can we do to change the entire behavior? And so this iteration shows 3 years ago versus what we are today. And AI is a critical point in that journey. So that top one, this is called median first response time. This is how quickly do we respond to our customer? How quickly do they know that we're listening to their issue? And when I first came into this role, we were at 6.5 hours. So if you called and you were using it for a business critical purpose, you would say, "Hey, I need help." It could be 6.5 hours before we get back to you. And that was just purely unacceptable. We were at the bottom of the barrel, 3 years ago. And we have done all of these different iterations. We changed our org structure. We went from being business hours in the US to being 24/7. We added live chat. We did a lot of training. We added a lot more resources. We grouped people into specialty resources so that they focus on the same similar type questions every single day. So we call those pods. But that has helped us to move all the way to this point of it's a median of 16 minutes. In fact,
Mm,
44%
gosh,
of our customers get a response within 2 minutes. So
gosh.
it's a huge transformation from being all the way to the left to being all the way to the right. And AI played a big role in that. And it was really along how do I deflect more and how do I gather this information from my agents better? How can I make them more effective?
Yeah.
On the bottom, this is our time to resolve, and it's partially impacted by how quickly can I respond. So when I first came in, we were at 2 days. It could be 2 days where you've got a project or you've got this intake or you're running a clinic and it's not working for you. And that was just purely unacceptable. And now we're right at this half a day perspective. You call us, we open up a case, we respond in just a couple minutes, and we will get it fixed and we'll do it in half a day,
Yeah.
which is great. And that the last two bullets down there, this is all to do with AI. So
Hmm.
when we first put it in, we started with Salesforce Einstein, and that's getting replaced now by this backdoor agentic AI experience. But we noticed through our time motion study that we are saving 54 minutes per agent per day. And that's critical for us to be able to do the more complex issues and help our customer get back on their feet. And then
I
that
mean,
deflection, it was 28% using our old tool. Now customers come in because they have that agentic AI experience. They can ask probing questions and follow up questions. We're now up to this 47% deflection, and that's only been going on for a few months. So every month it gets better and better and better. We expect we'll be up over 50% here in the next couple months.
yeah. Amazing, amazing accomplishments, James. Really, congratulations to you and your team. I mean, we can see this is very industry leading. Um, I think this really translates and helps understand, through this whole process of what it takes to get there. I am curious about the human impact. How has adoption of Agentforce been received by your agents and and customers? Um, and did you need to do any type of proactive change management activities in anticipation?
Yeah, I think it's a very relevant question. Um, I think because there's a lot of trepidation on how far does the pendulum swing with AI and does it really take everybody's job away? Um, is there some impact? Yes, but I think different than what most people originally expected 2 years ago. So let me hit first on the customer side. Because AI is so prevalent, people have it in their home, they have it on their phone, they know how to interact with an AI. And so doing something with our front door makes total sense. In fact, that's pretty much what customers expect. They
Mm,
expect to go through some type of agentic AI experience to get their questions done. If they can't, then they want to get connected up to an empowered agent, somebody who can use AI on the backside to be able to speed up the resolution and speed up the response. And that's when our agents are now more empowered to do their job better and it's less clunky. We took away all of this administrative burden and we gave it to the AI. So they have better throughput, they have better CSAT, excuse me, better CSAT, they have better returns, they have better time management because they
mhm.
use AI on the backside. Um, we have slowed down on our hiring, but we haven't stopped. We haven't let anybody go because AI's come in. We've been able to do more for our customer and use AI to do it. So yes, we have just through natural attrition, we've slowed down on our expanding of number of people, but everybody who's on the team now uses AI to do their job better
Mm,
and faster.
yeah, that's great to hear. Um, I think that CSAT you mentioned is just such an important measure to understand what the customer point of view is. But you also mentioned, agents, and I mean, I think focusing on the agent as well is a critical aspect of success. I mean, they are the people who are ultimately going to be um, interacting with customers for those escalated needs, right? Those more complex reasons. And I think giving them the time to focus on what's the more complex, more interesting aspects of the job versus repeated answers that an AI bot is really very well at doing is going to increase employee satisfaction and ultimately, retention, et cetera, that all translate to better, higher quality customer service.
Yeah.
Again, congratulations on this huge accomplishment and these results, and thank you for bringing Thunder in, at different points of this journey to help make you guys successful and realize that success.
No, I appreciate you, Ron. We've had a great partnership. We're super excited. I think it's one of the keys to success is making sure you don't just do this on your own. Uh, It's very rare to find a support organization that's also an AI expert. So you could try, but it's going to take you a long time and it's going to cost a lot to try and get your AI up and built if you do it all on your own. So I think those recommendations are, you know, figure out who a good partner is. Work with somebody like Thunder that can help you navigate the project, navigate the AI, find the right technology partner. If it's Salesforce or somebody similar that has the tools in AI and is leading the force on AI. That makes a big difference. So this trifecta of having Smartsheet with the right use cases, having Thunder with the right project management and the keys, hands-on keys, and Salesforce with a really compelling AI story and technology really allowed us to be able to fast track and leapfrog to the front of our industry. So we're super
Yeah.
excited for it. We appreciate all the help.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for that. Are there any, aside from working with the partner and the right technology that's the right fit in your organization based on the industry, etc.? Are there any other tidbit, best practice, or lesson learned that you want to add from your experience, or yeah, just take us through kind of your last thoughts?
Yeah, I think there's just some core business and leadership principles to think about. I think be really clear and identify what are your use cases that you're trying to do and prioritize those so you have the right ROI. Don't boil the ocean. Yes, AI is going to touch everything someday, but make it a little bit smaller and hit the use case that's going to give you the fastest ROI, and then go to the next one, and then go to the next one, and make that priority, and then make that hard commitment. As a leader, it's always difficult to be able to stick your neck out, but be big and be bold. If you have if you have confidence in this AI model that you're trying to implement, go straight to the top, get all the stakeholders involved, and put your money where your mouth is. This is what you expect to be able to deliver based off of the AI. And then just recognize it's going to constantly evolve. It's not always going to be the right answer, but doing something is going to be a better answer than doing nothing. Bring the right partners in and move with speed so that you as a organization and your customers can all benefit from the use of great AI like agentic AI.
Yeah, those really resonate very, very well. Thank you. And again, thank you for sharing your story with us, James. And clearly, impressive industry-leading results. Thank you for your leadership with this. And really, more than anything, we're excited to bring this journey and type of results to our other customers. With all the lessons learned that through this project that we collaborated on to achieve, and for your team to achieve these results. So, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, a really fascinating conversation. And Yaron and James, I want to thank both of you on behalf of the audience as well, because I think getting to watch you sort of walk through and unpack, I felt like we were just sitting around having a coffee and, and chatting about some really cool ideas. I have to add to what Yaron said, James. I think for me, what really stood out was starting with those use cases, starting with the human side of things. AI can start to feel kind of nebulous and just the shiny, sparkly. And what you did was really make this. You brought it to a tangible and real steps that we can take, starting from a human centered approach. And I think that's a really important thoroughfare. And I'm actually, could I take you back there? Sorry, I'm going to throw in a question now after just complimenting you for a while. And I'm just wondering, James, could you walk us back to when you were kind of looking at those use cases? Is there any best practice or advice that you could give there in terms of prioritization and how to, because you talked about boiling the ocean, right? And I think it can feel overwhelming. Were there any sort of steps that you took to kind of to get started, to take that first step?
Yeah, it's a good question. Yes, we took some meaningful steps. Uh, we put all the use cases out there. We wanted to identify where's the knowledge set coming from.
Mm,
If it was coming from a single set like embedded in Salesforce, that's much easier for us to be able to turn it on. If I have to go and do a ton of different integrations um, and bring it in from 3 or 4 different sources, it's more complex. So we had a complexity score that helped us prioritize what was important. So the simple things went to the top, the more complex things went to the bottom, and then we layered on uh, things like what is going to cost us. Is it customer facing? Is it back end facing? So getting that customer facing that's easy to get to the data source, those just naturally went to the top. And because we had an easy way to track the success, because we had a deflection rate, I could clearly point out one deflection equals X amount of dollars and do the math and track it. That was important to be able to communicate for the leadership and get adoption into the AI journey. If I had chosen some ambiguity use case that was hard to measure, I think we would have struggled to get it approved and we would struggle to get our foothold with expansion simply because people wouldn't know if it's working or not. So I think it was important on those simple use cases, fast ROI, easy to measure.
Ooh, I love that. And we did get a question about making this kind of how you're justifying this to the higher ups and decision makers in their organization. And I think that's a great, finding tangible impact that you can bring forward. And instead of just, I think now, as you said, there's a lot of pressure to just AI and just hit AI button, but it's really important to be able to come back with the metrics and that direct measurable impact. Um, we're getting close to the end of time, and I am very very sad to say that because I think there's lots more to dig into here. What I want to do to kind of bring us to a close, first and foremost, I have to acknowledge that there are a ton of questions coming in from our audience, and I know that we're not going to be able to get to them in our session today. But you guys have been doing a great job of answering questions. Some multitasking going on. You've been answering questions on live chat while also speaking to us today, and I know we've got the teams live chatting as well. To anyone that asked a question that we didn't get to today, stay tuned because we are going to send all your questions to our teams here and you will get responses back. So keep those questions coming in. But before we bring things to a close, I'd love to ask for Jeff Mack, for James, for your own, to give us kind of a final thought, a final, whether it's something that you wish everyone in the audience would walk away thinking about or understanding or taking action on, however you want to approach it. And maybe James, I'll ask you to kick us off, and then Jeff Mack, and then your own, you can kind of bring us home.
Yeah, I think just as a key takeaway, know that AI is here. How do you embrace it and how do you make sure you can take advantage of it in your organization? Be big, be bold, identify what can benefit the agents and what can benefit the customers, and go after it with speed. You do not want to be a laggard when it comes to AI adoption.
It's a good one. Get on board. The train's here. All right. Jeff Mack, what do you think?
Yeah, I was going to say, be willing to take that leap of commitment. That was a good one,
Mm,
James. Your data is not going to be perfect. The implementation won't be perfect, but we're here to get our hands dirty with you, as you heard James explain that it's a journey. right? And we started talking about this at the end of last year, and we've come a long way. And so I would just say get started. Don't get left behind.
Love that. Yes. You guys, I actually got a little goosebumps. You guys are getting me all pumped up. Yeah. Like get started. Do something. All right. Yaron, what do you got? What's your final takeaway for us?
Well, I've got to concur with Jeff Mack and James as well. AI is here, and I really think that there's fear, and it's
Mm,
understandable in the ecosystem around um, what AI, the impact of AI, and the impact on the people and the organization. So we heard from James that actually the team is embracing it, and it's having a positive impact for both customers and the contact center. And I love hearing that. I love hearing James say that, he hasn't had to let anybody in the team go. It's more of like this allows us to scale faster and at lower cost, and allows agents to do things more relevant and we know with higher skill sets. So um, I'd say the best thing you could do to get started, right, is kind of tied to a business case. And that does not have to be complex, right? As James described, it's um, look at your cost to serve, cost per case, identify what case deflection can do per a percentage amount, and then that just translates to savings right there. It's easy to get started, as we heard. Just point the AI to your knowledge base, and is probably as simple as it gets. So it doesn't have to be complex. So yeah, take that leap of faith and embrace it. I think it's amazing to both customers and agents.
I love that. And Yaron, for an action step, are we visiting your website? What are we doing?
Yeah, hit us up. We'd love to hear from you. We'd really love to, just like we heard from James and Jeff Mack today. We really just would love to have a conversation and kind of, we're learning as you're learning. Yes, we're the experts on the technology. We've done a bunch of Agentforce projects already, but every customer experience and environment is going to be a little bit different. So go to our website, register, ask for help, and we'll get in touch with you around next steps.
Fantastic. All right. Well, guys, honestly, truly a fascinating conversation. I want to thank you for inviting me to join you for a virtual coffee chat, which is how this felt today. I think we got to explore some really cool ideas. Our next session, stay tuned, Disney and surfing coming your way. But I want to thank all of you for joining me today. All right. Well, that is, I'm sad to say, the end of our webinar, and we're going to leave things there until our Disney and surfing webinar. We'll end the conversation. But I want to thank all of you for joining us. James, Jeff, Mack, your own. Again, it's just been such a great, and the audience is really resonating with it as well. So I want to call out that we've gotten some thank yous from Nick, from Benjamin, from Tiana, from George, from Laura, and I love that. I love when all of you out there are getting to share in some of the passion that we're seeing from our speakers as well. And I think that was a really fun thing to explore today. So again, big thanks to our speakers and to all of you out there. Now, if you asked a question that we did not get to in our Q&A, either over our verbal Q&A or our texting Q&A today, then you are still in luck. You can get your questions in. We will send them on over to our wonderful teams here, and you will get responses back in email follow-up. So get your questions in. Another great way to learn a little bit more right away is to head on over to the Docs tab. If you visit that Docs tab, you can learn more right away about Agentforce and AI. This is a really exciting way to kind of explore this a little bit further. So please do go and click on that Docs tab right now. And get those wonderful takeaways. You are welcome, Tiana. Tiana is locked and loaded and ready to carry these conversations forward in their day. All right. Well, one last important piece of information before I get into our prize giveaway here. Riley is going to open up a survey, and what we're looking for is just your honest feedback. What did you think about the webinar? Are we hitting you with the right info at the right time? So take a second now and fill out that survey there. And again, feel free to continue to get those questions in. All right, well, we have one more important piece of information here for you all, and that is our prize giveaway. We have a $250 Amazon gift card going to someone who is here live and present at the webinar. And that special someone here, I'll go on, we'll do a little drum roll. That special someone, our prize winner today, is Ashley Galbraith from California. Ashley Galbraith from California, congratulations to you. Now we will follow up with you after we wrap the webinar, so stay tuned for that. And with that, my friends, we are here. We are at the end of our webinar. So on behalf of the Smart Brief team, I want to once again thank Salesforce and partner Thunder Consulting for making this webinar possible, especially to our wonderful speakers here with us, Jeff, Mac, James, and Yaron. I've thanked you all a couple times today because it's so fun when we get to have that kind of a free-flowing conversation, and it's not always easy to do. And I know sometimes, getting into those personal stories and really offering that personal experience can be a bit scary. And James, I'm just really grateful that you were willing to kind of share some of your own personal insight and your team's experiences with us today. And I know the audience really learned a lot and appreciated that as well. So, on that note, my biggest thank yous, as always, go to all of you here with us in the audience. Hey, Andrew, I see you as well. So great to have this wonderful community here who's willing to come in and participate in these types of conversations together. So all of this happens because you are here with us. So keep coming to join us. I hope that I'll get to see all of you at a webinar again soon. And until then, have an absolutely beautiful end to your day. Thanks all.